Tom, how you doing?
Good, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm doing really, really good. All the better for seeing you. Where are you now? You're in Atlanta, Georgia, you say?
Yes, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. We're shooting Spiderman 3 at the moment. So I've injured my knee, so they've given me 3 or 4 days off. So I'm sort of stuck in the house, kicking about, and I'm losing my mind a little bit. I miss the spandex suit. I miss the feeling of not being able to breathe. So I need to get back on set, sharpish.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. I know we're not here to talk about that. We'll talk about Cherry in 2 seconds. Just tell me, I think I spoke to you about this before, but let's reiterate. What is it like to be Spider-Man? Not like just wear the suit for a fancy dress party. You are Spider-Man.
It's mental. It's absolutely mental. I mean, it's a dream come true. I grew up as a kid and I was obsessed with Spider-Man. And I remember saying in an interview when I was about 14, if I could play any superhero, I'd love to be Spider-Man. And, you know, I was obviously lucky enough that came true. But mate, it's been incredible. It's been the absolute highlight of my life. I've met 2 of my best friends and people that I'll be friends with for the rest of my life. And I love making the movies. It's a lot of fun.
Incredible. Well, you do look fantastic in the suit. You also look fantastic in a nice, smart suit. And you've mentioned that you love wearing a suit. And 007 is something you'd potentially throw your name in the hat for. I know you've probably been asked this a million times today. What would that mean to you, to be Spider-Man and James Bond? That's never happened, has it?
Oh, mate, it'd be an absolute dream come true. I got to remind myself that I'm lucky enough as it is. Spider-Man is an absolute delight and privilege to play. But, you know, should they want to do a younger James Bond, you best believe I'd be there. But you know, it is what it is, and we'll have to wait and see.
Boom, amazing. Right, Tom, let's talk about Cherry. It's a little bit, I've seen it. I saw it last night. It's a little bit darker. I love it.
Yeah.
How did you find this kind of darker role for yourself?
I mean, it was interesting. Playing Spider-Man is one thing, but, you know, there are the limitations to what you can do creatively because you're trying to cater to a younger audience and all that sort of stuff. And playing a character like Cherry in a film like this is really freeing as an actor because the sky's the limit, you know, there's no boundary that you can't cross. So for me, it was very freeing. I was lucky to do it with the Russo brothers, who I've obviously worked with time and time again. It was interesting for me to get to play a darker version of myself, I guess.
When it comes to Cherry as a person, what would you say it would be the hardest part of his life to get through? He had, problems along the way. What would you say would be the hardest part?
I think it's his lack of luck. He's the type of person that always is trying his best. He's always trying to put 100% in, but he can never quite catch a break. And I think that is partly the reason why he makes these decisions, which ultimately kind of ruin his life. So I think the lack of luck he has in his life is probably the hardest thing he has to try and overcome. And
obviously he suffers from PTSD. Has this made you feel closer to people that go through... When I say closer, I mean, has it made you be able to relate more to people that go through massive traumas in their life that do suffer PTSD? And has it opened your eyes to that?
Absolutely, and I hope the film does that as well. I think more often than not, films about war and drugs romanticize this idea of going to war or doing drugs. And this film, obviously, as you've seen, does the complete opposite. The war against PTSD is something that people fight in the shadows. They fight alone, and people are ashamed to talk about what they've been through. So I really hope this film gives people the courage to open up and seek help, and that people are ready to listen.
I think it will do for sure, Tom. Again, you play an amazing role. You are such a talent, always such a kind guy whenever I speak to you in LA or here. Thank you so much for being so great, Tom.
Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure, mate.
This is Heart.